Hi everyone, my name is Danielle, also known as Aquantuni. So, today I wanted to talk about my VBAC that I had in Kenya. So, first things first, I gave birth in 2022 to my son, who is now almost 3. Shortly after, we did what married grown folks do, and I got pregnant again when he was a little over 1. So for my son, I had a C-section, an emergency C-section. We all know how that goes. In Kenya, I feel like I know way too many first-time mothers who have had emergency C-sections. It's a cash trap. These hospitals are literally just looking for money, but that's a different video for another day. I want to talk about how I had a successful VBAC. My VBAC baby is down here, so if you hear some noise, just know it's her. So when I found out I was pregnant again, I immediately knew. Actually, after I gave birth to my son, I immediately knew while recovering from this emergency CS, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. The recovery was brutal, especially because I labored for about 2 days and then had an emergency CS. I knew I wasn't doing it again. So as soon as I found out I was pregnant with baby girl, I knew like I need to find a doctor. I don't care if I'm giving birth in Coast. I don't care if I'm giving birth in Nairobi. I don't care if I'm giving birth wherever. I need to find a doctor who's going to support me. Okay, sis, in this VBAC journey. So I did my research. And I found out that there's doctors at Aga Khan who are VBAC positive. But I was told most of them are in Nairobi. So I was like, I'm really not trying to give birth in Nairobi. It just entails like extra work that I wasn't trying to do. So I ended up at Mombasa Aga Khan. The doctors there were great. And they agreed to let me do a trial of labor, which basically means we're going to let you labor and see if you will dilate enough to have this baby. So, what time was it? She was a morning baby. I must sound like a bad mom child because I cannot remember when this baby was born. But I do know that my son's birthday was April 29th, and it was the last night he slept with me, slept next to me. And I started feeling contractions around like 2 a.m. So it was me, my son, and my husband. We all in the bed. I told my baby daddy, I'm feeling some cramps. So like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling some cramps. And you know, man, he was just like, okay, and rolled back over and went to sleep. So then with labor at times, of course, comes diarrhea. I know, if it's TMI, whatever, it is what it is, girl. So I'm going back and forth to the bathroom, like, I was so excited because that meant labor was coming. Like, I'm in labor. So I did that for like 2 hours. And as we're in Kilifi, I knew we were going to Mombasa, so I wasn't trying to push it. I did want to... Then you gonna look back at me? I didn't want to labor at home as long as possible because the truth is, if you go to the hospital too quick, they're more likely to rush you. And I knew that I was already on the clock because why? I'm trying to have a VBAC. So 2 hours went by. I told my husband, call our friend for the car. Girl, take this toy and hush. I told my husband, call our friend for the car because it's getting real. So he was like, okay, cool. So I went to the living room. I did some squats because the YouTube VBAC girl said, you know, squat and just release the tension. I was trying to keep my jaw loose because apparently you carry tension in your jaw and it can make you have a CS. Like, I just did all of this research and I'm trying to remember all of these things. So I'm in the living room squatting. My baby's still in bed, sleep. The first one, I'm like, cool. That means less drama, you know. I'm just squatting and swaying and humming. And so the car finally arrives and I'm like, let's go. So we pick up our friend who was going to watch the kids while we're at the hospital because, mind you, like, my son has never stayed a night away from me. So that was like a thing. So we all get in the car and go to Mombasa. We go to the hospital and they check me, and I'm 3 centimeters dilated. I was like, okay. I was feeling a little discouraged because last time with my son, I came to the hospital when I was 1, and I was like, what? And I got a whole bunch of these other centimeters to go. So I was 3 centimeters dilated, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's just see how this goes. I told homegirl, like, I'm trying to go back to my B&B, and she was like, oh, okay, sure. I kid you not. When I was getting up to, like, put my clothes back on and say bye, my water breaks. I was like, what is that? Because with my son, my water didn't break. They broke it, child. So you already knew this birth was gonna be a mess. They up in there breaking the waters themselves. Anyway, so my water broke. I was like, oh, I'm feeling like I just like peed on myself. Okay, so the nurse is gone. I wait till she comes back, and I'm like, I'm feeling kind of wet down there. Like, I don't know. So she was like, oh yeah, your water broke. And I was like, oh man, does that mean I gotta stay here? She's like, absolutely. So by then, I think it's like 7, 8. We do all the paperwork. I'm admitted. Chameleon. So that was that. So my husband leaves because he goes and settles them in the Airbnb, because there's no reason for them to wait in the car in the parking lot, because for sure we all can't be in a labor room together. So he leaves, he sorts them out in the Airbnb, and he comes back, and I'm just laboring. I'm like, wow. People are coming in and out this room. Girl, sometimes people be coming up in these labor rooms too much, because at one point there was somebody coming up in, don't touch that, mama. There was somebody coming up in that room trying to clean up something. I'm on all 4s in this bed, butt naked, and you coming up in here trying to mop something. I said, just go. You can't touch this. Okay. I told him, just leave. Get out of here. Like, let me do my thing. I didn't ask you to be up in here cleaning nothing. Like, what? So the nurses are checking on me. They're like, girl, you gotta breathe. You gotta stop all this screaming. They love to tell you to stop screaming. But I get it. I get it because I did a lot of that with my first. And it did slow down the labor. But the nurses were lovely. So eventually my husband comes back. And girl, he come back. And it's like, I saw my person. So I was like, all right, we're gonna have this baby. So the labor, I'm progressing. And eventually they tell me, you're like 5 centimeters dilated. And I was like, oh my gosh. It's been like 3 hours, sis. We're only 5 centimeters dilated. So I was like, it's okay. So I start praying. I start calling out to Jesus. Because, you know, he's the one who told me I was going to have this VBAC. I got a word. So I knew it was happening. I'm just in that. And, so about 30 minutes goes by, and the nurse is like, yeah, she said, you're 5 centimeters. Let's get you to the delivery room. I was like, delivery room at 5 centimeters? And I gotta get to 9? Was it 9? Yeah. However many. She was like, yeah, let's get you to the delivery room. Yeah, baby. We walked across to that delivery room, and boom, she was coming. So we get to the delivery room. She was like, yeah, you're 9. It's time to have this baby. I was like, what? All I do is walk across. I was like, are you serious? So then by then, I'm crying. I'm in so much pain. But the baby comes. Like, she comes. They did give me I can't say the word, epitis. The one that starts with an E where they have to snip you. That was really unfortunate. Do I know if it was necessary? No, I don't know. However, the doctor did at least tell me she was doing it, because I do know a lot of moms who had that cut, and they weren't told that they that the doctor was doing it. They weren't asked for consent for that. So that's unfortunate. So I was grateful my doctor did let me know, like, she's a little stuck, whatever, we're gonna do this. I was like, okay. And again, everybody's on like high alert because of this being a VBAC. So You're waving? She's over here. So yes, the VBAC was successful. I know this is probably the most chaotic VBAC story ever. We have a lot going on in this room. Honestly, all glory to God. Amen, sis. Because it happened, and I went to so many doctors. I went to the doctor who delivered my son. I was like, you know what? I want to try for a VBAC. She was like, absolutely not. You could never do it. It could never happen. You putting yourself and your baby at risk. It's just not possible with your body. I was inside of you when I cut you, and I could feel your pelvis. It was just too small. And I was like, okay, but like, you know, there's not much you can say to that. I went to another doctor who's well known in Coast, and even she was like, yeah, we could probably let you do it. She was like, yeah, we could probably let you do it and you'd probably succeed, but the hospital won't take that risk. And also my pregnancies were pretty close together. Like I said, my son's birthday, their birthdays are just a day apart, 2 years apart. So ideally, people want you to kind of wait about 18 months, and I was 18 months between pregnancies, but the further, the better. But I'm just here to tell y'all, try that VBAC. I know in Kenya, it's not like so common to hear ladies talk about it, but there are women who do it, clearly. There's even another woman on IG. Her name is Mama Mathoni. I also found a lot of her content when I was looking up information about a VBAC. I believe she had one as well. Try your VBAC. Don't let these doctors tell you your body can't do it, your pelvis is too small. What? Because these are just doctors, okay? They're not Jesus. They're just doctors, and at times even they are money oriented, you know. And it is what it is. Like it's just the truth. A CS can start anywhere from 80. The lies I tell. 150K at a private hospital. And baby, if you have an emergency CS, you can't even do the package deal. It's not a package. They start counting every single thing you use, every needle, every glove, anything that you used. I think for my son, that bill ended up being like 250 G's, and we went in expecting 70. So that was another reason why I was adamant on trying for a VBAC, because first of all, I know my body can do it. Second of all, y'all ain't about to be getting all this money out of us, okay? If I know my body can do it. And third, the recovery. My CS recovery, like I said, was crazy. This recovery, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's also been crazy, even though it was a vaginal birth. It's also been very crazy, okay? 10 months later, and my body is not the same. I actually thought recovery would be much smoother, but things is not the same. I also tore, I guess, really bad. I never asked to what degree, but the doctor said she stitched me up good. And she did, because I was on that table for a minute. At one point, I was like, is everything okay? And it was almost like she was trying to keep me calm. So she's just like, yeah, everything is okay. So yeah, guys. I know this is like, girl, what? You've been gone for 2 years and you come back talking about a VBAC? Sorry, not 2 years, since 2021. It's been way longer than 2 years. But yes, I've been gone since 2021, and I came back and started talking about a VBAC. I hope this can be the start of something new. So yes, my name is Danielle, also known as Aquantuni. You guys can follow me on IG at Aquantuni, and I hope to see you soon in another video.